Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, our group Fantastic 5 from KMD 2 will do the presentation about our topic Communicating with Employees During COVID-19 Pandemic for subject MCA 1013 Business Communication. Okay, so before we start, I'm going to introduce our teammates. So for the first one is Athirah binti Muhammad Kamal, matrix number 1212729. The second one is Nurul Nasrin Fatin binti Muhammad Hisham, matrix number 121200741. The third one, Wardina binti Arof, 1212746. The fourth one Aisya Syafiqah binti Abdul Rahman, 1212747. And the last one is Athirah Atikah binti Khairul Jazli with matrix number 1212752. Okay, so these are what we're going to present for today. The first one, we will talk about introduction, which is the intro about our topic, communicating between employee and employers during the COVID-19 pandemic. The next one is the first point, which is work from home. For this point, we are going to elaborate a bit about how work from home affect the communication that happen between employee and employers. The second point, which is way of communication. At this point, we will elaborate about how communication work between employee and employers. And the next one is welfare of employee that was provided by the employers. The last point is provide safe channel for giving feedback. We will discuss about this point later in the presentation. And the last one is conclusion, which we will conclude about how our presentation for today. So let's just dive in the presentation for our topic today, communication between employers and employee that happened during COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so this is an introduction for our topic today, communicating with employees during COVID-19 pandemic. So as we know, Malaysia had implied Movement Control Order, or we call MCO, for the first time on March 18, 2019. So that's the start of the pandemic, and people learned how to cope with that situation. So at that time, schools are closed and a lot of business had lost. So from economic side, most of the business had to operate anything online because only certain business that are allowed to operate at that time. So from that topic, we are going to discuss on how employer communicate with employee during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, so now let's move into the next points, which is how to communicate with the employees during MCO. So we know that in this era of globalization, communication is still important to our career. It will give you the opportunity to communicate, collaborate, and share ideas with many people both inside and outside your organization. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many companies are finding a various of ways to communicate with their employees. The COVID-19 pandemic also has changed the way we communicate because we are advised to wear facial masks and keep our distance from each other. Alright, so the firstly is provide a plan for the future. There is one other privilege to employees worries about their own jobs. Further, share as much as you can about your strategy and your planning for the future, and be sure to recognize employees who have gone extra mile to drive business results or help colleagues. It can have a positive ripple effects. So the secondly, keep conversation up with your team and your employees. In general, introduce and using communication equipment like Google Team, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Skype, and so on. As you know, It will allow you to communicate in a successful location. As we know, workplaces are forced to close. How to reduce infection rate? Even though meetings can still soon with their virtual meetings apps. This can use to hold their employees discussion between individual or groups. Alright, the thirdly is to keep them be more focused on what is important to do. So as possible manager, you must to push back upwards, not downwards, and priorities downwards, push up to the leaders above you. Then the manager must try and encourage them to priorities, also ask them about the most important thing to do that they need to do in this week and my team to deliver by the end of this week or next week. So we can see that the conclude is they can be more focused and be more responsible in their jobs.
Assalamualaikum and Atikah, and now I will continue for chapter 4, which is about welfare of employees. Employers all across the world, including in our country Malaysia, are becoming concerned about the dangers caused by the COVID-19. As leader, it is the responsibility to boost the workplace welfare and stamina as we check across through the enormous global issue. First and foremost, as a leader, the leader should care about employee welfare during pandemic COVID-19, especially about their mental and physical health. During pandemic COVID-19, employees maybe have stress at home, in many problems, and has many work to do as family members or as employees. So, as a leader, we should understand them and not make them feel difficult. For example, leader can invite a counselor or a motivator to share more technique how to stay calm and focus on the online platform like Google Meet, Zoom, Webex and so on. By this way, employees can manage their life properly and they can do the work more productive. Other than that, leader also may ensure the safety at the workplace environment. By this way, it can help government to control COVID-19 spread at the workplace. So, the leader is responsible to ensure that employees are screened at least twice weekly. Company sectors are becoming more important and to ensure important sectors can continue open during the pandemic. Organizations also should comply with the latest guidelines to avoid being shut down. Last but not least, leaders also need to make sure employees are kept away from COVID-19. The company should prepare more face masks and hand sanitizer for employees and everywhere at the workplace and make sure all employees are wearing face masks if don't have any necessary to open face masks. Leaders also can share with them the COVID-19 information with the WHO guidelines. It can help employees to always be aware of current issues and know how to handle themselves when they are affected positive COVID-19.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now I'm going to share with you the next factor, communication between employees and manager, which is provide safe channel for giving feedback. Nowadays, all over the world are having a tough year causing by pandemic of COVID-19. So, every organization is using inner verbal communications. Firstly, they are making collaboration among workers. Secondly, managers assign obligation. Thirdly, we can see the growth of statistics. And lastly, we can share the skills among them. Furthermore, the benefits that we will gain by inner verbal communication, which are, firstly, preserving personal efficiency. As a result, the manager could see their employees' good development and productivity in their work. Secondly, the engagement with employees and managers. They can interact about the work or also make some conversation to bloom up the environment. Thirdly, align with industrial business, that they can compare and discuss more about other related issues that going up around them and improve their possibility in management and business. Fourthly, the business flows simply enforcing new answer to improve their internal communication efforts. In addition, the worker feedback is a vital part in boosting their workers' morality, engagement, and personal productivity. So then, we can see the good environment and relation in work. Other than that, having more than one channel to assure their comfort stage and choice, so that nobody will complain or discomfort all over days during work. To conclude this, safe channel to give feedback is facilitates to hold the equal line of thinking throughout the years to correct track the employee's development. Lastly, safety recognition accident can be prevented. Moreover, the procedure rolls up and improve. That's all from me. Thank you.
So this is the last part of our presentation for today. So from the presentation, we can conclude that employer had to communicate with their employee, no matter if it's face-to-face or online, to make sure that the bond is well made and there is nothing that going to be a problem in the future. So we can say that communication is a crucial element in every company. So every company should be able to adapt with the situation. So in this case, we talk about COVID-19 pandemic, and employers also need to think many ways to connect with their employee to spread the info needed to operate their business well. So we have reached to the end of our presentation. Thanks for lending your ears to hear our presentation. And that's all from us. Thank you.